All right. It's been a while. 4 pieces of angle iron cut to 7 inches this way.
Today we are doing a live fire cook on the Old Country Vaquero Grill using a self-made brasero. We'll give you the details on it along with what kind of lump charcoal I like using and how I like running my open fire setup. Along the way I'll give you tips and tricks on seasonings and how to use the brasero in a 2 or 3 zone cooking setup. So if open fire cooking interests you, then stick around for the details right here on Al Lunacy Queuing.
All right, so let me go get it. I haven't used this for a while.
Getting back home from the open fire meetup a few weekends ago got me motivated to do a little open fire cooking of my own. So I busted out the Old Country Vaquero Santa Maria grill since I hadn't used it for about 6 months. So before we begin, let me explain the difference between a Santa Maria grill compared to an Argentinian grill, because it sets us up for some of the things I talk about in the video. The Old Country Barbecue Pit's Vaquero Grill is a Santa Maria style grill. It's an open fire grill with a rotating chain system allowing you to raise and lower the grill grate over the heat source. These grills are designed for live fire cooking, typically with charcoal or hardwood logs, or a combination of both. The adjustable heat control makes the grill versatile, suitable for various cooking methods, including quick searing, roasting, and smoking. The Tagwood Gaucho grill is an Argentinian-style grill with the same rotating system allowing you to raise and lower the grill grate over the heat source. However, it is designed with an open firebox called a Brasero, where you can burn your wood splits or lump charcoal, allowing for coals to fall to the bottom so that they can be easily moved under the cooking grate area. These type of grills typically have more cooking options compared to a Santa Maria grill. Options like grill grates to directly sear over the firebox, meat clamps to cook by the firebox, and hooks to hang your meat. With that being said, let me show you what I added to my Vaquero grill to make it more like an Argentinian grill.
Here's an explanation of the brasero. So basically it's just angle iron, as you can see. 4 pieces of angle iron cut to 7 inches this way.
To make the legs for the brasero, I started by cutting a piece of angle iron into 4 pieces, making each piece 7 inches. 1 piece would go on each corner of the brasero. Then to make the top and bottom of the brasero, I cut a triangle cut to one side of the angle iron as shown here. Then I bent the angle iron at the line at a 45-degree angle. I did this 2 times to form a rectangle shape for the top and bottom. I just had to tack weld the ends together. I then tack welded the legs as well. The final step was to cut some rod and bend them into a U shape so they could hold the wood inside the brasero. Here are the measurements.
See that? So it fits perfectly inside the box here. And then if I want to bring it down, it fits flush. Let me get you guys in. You can see exactly the right measurement for it to be flush to the box of the grill.
So now that we have that explained, let me show you how I start a fire in the brasero. We start this off by using a Superior Trading fire starter on the bottom of the brasero. Now for demonstration purposes, I am using full logs, but it's always best using wood splits because they burn down into coals much quicker than logs do. Now if you must use logs, a quicker way to get to cooking is to take out your carbonized logs from the brasero once they have some gray ash to them. Then you can place them under the cooking grate. You can then place a few pieces of lump charcoal around them to keep the heat going. I just didn't have enough time to do it this day.
So here we are another day. We're using the Vaquero once again. This time we are using some 8-inch Chief Firewood splits, and you can see that we're getting them turned on by the fire starters down below. The way I run a live fire as far as using a brasero, it's a little bit different. It's the opposite of the way I run an offset. I first start with splits, post oak to be exact, and then I'll add my mesquite lump charcoal. Usually it's the other way around. Using the offset, I start my base fire with mesquite lump charcoal and then add post oak splits. This way it's the other way around. The reason being is because the splits will start breaking down and carbonize and then start turning into embers. We'll spread those around and then put some lump charcoal on top of that to continue the fire. So we're gonna go ahead and keep the fire burning on the brasero there, and then we're gonna get the firebox hot and we'll start scraping down the grill and cleaning it down so I can get it back to a shiny finish.
Using a live fire grill, it's always wise to have a coal rod of some sort so you can scoot over the coals under the cooking grate. We first break down a few wood splits so they can fall, then we scoot them over to under the cooking grate. Today I'm using my favorite mesquite lump charcoal, Campirano Mexican Mesquite Lump charcoal. I like it because unlike other mesquite lump charcoal, it doesn't snap, crackle, and pop as much. Now we can talk about why some lump charcoal snaps more than others, but that's a whole other story for another video. For now, we'll get our grill clean so we can continue.
All right, let's take a look at what we got on the grill. Right here we got some winglets, we got some fajitas right there, and then we got some tablitas, also known as crosscut ribs, flanken ribs. I think these are the 4 bones, so they're the flanken ribs. So yeah, you see our fire is doing great. We still got some post oak burning here. We're gonna get these. This is kind of like the sear zone, so that's the way you can work a 2 zone. Of course, here it's hot, but this is extremely hot.
Using a live fire grill is a harsher heat source than a smoker or a closed grill, so the fire will burn away a lot of your seasoning. So in my opinion, it's best to lightly or moderately season your meat before cooking, then give it a finishing touch of seasoning once it's done. That way you don't load your meat with sodium. Now let's talk about the 3-zone cooking method I like to use on my vaquero. For beef, I first char it a little bit in the sear zone side, then finish cooking it on the hot zone. Once it's done, I keep it warm in the warm zone. Now for chicken, I do hot zone to cook first, sear zone to get crispy skin, then to the warm zone till it's served. Now the first pieces of ribs are out, and you can see that they have a good char on the outside but are still juicy red on the inside. Today we are using Twisted Oak Cow Whisper for the finishing seasoning on everything. For the finishing touch, I sprinkle a little of this delicious SPG with hints of cumin rub on my board, then rub the cooked meat over it. This works great and gives your meat a last layer of flavor. All meats turned out great, and it was a beautiful, cool afternoon to barbecue on the Old Country Vaquero Grill. This 3-zone cooking method works great on live fire grills, and the OC Vaquero is probably one of the most reasonably priced Santa Maria grills on the market today. If you have any questions concerning the Brasero I made for it, or any of the things we talked about in the video today, leave them in the comments and I'll reply the first chance I get. There will also be links to most of the products we used in the video today, to include promo codes for the wood. Now we feature all different kinds of grills on the channel, from griddle to propane pellet, offsets, charcoal, Kamado, and live fire grills. If you find this content of value, please consider subscribing. So that's all for now. Appreciate you hanging out with me on this one. It was great being able to film and hang with my buddy Ted. As always, take care of yourself and each other. See you again very soon.